Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. So in this tutorial, I'm just basically gonna walk you guys through the basics of HTML. The things that you want to know before you actually get started. But first of all, what we want to do is make sure that we save this document right here. I know it's blank, but we want to save it as a HTML document. That way, whatever text we type in there, the browser is gonna know that we're typing in HTML. So of course, I'd already kind of started off by calling this introduction. What you want to do is, for example, I went into desktop, I created a folder. So if you haven't done that yet, create a new folder, name it HTML or whatever you want, just make sure you remember the name. Then I double clicked on that, I created this file called introduction, but I'm going to redo that. So I'll just call it intro for now, .html. That way it's easier for my browser to just know that, okay, we're expecting HTML in this document. So when I click save, this document is now registered as a HTML document. So now I can officially type in some HTML code in here. So the first thing I want to introduce to you guys is basically they're called tags. So when programming on web development, we get these things that are called tags, and people like calling them anchor brackets. Some people just refer to them as the bigger than and the smaller than sign, but this is what they look like. So these are tags. So what tags basically do is they contain certain letters or certain information that tells the browser what's going to be inside those tags or what to expect from those tags. Alright, because one thing you need to know when you get into web development or programming or anything is that computers aren't as smart as people think they are. They're probably the dumbest things on earth, and it's the developers or the programmer's job to actually tell a computer what to do or how to do it. So we have to instruct it step by step. Alright, so I know I just explained that like you guys are babies or anything, but that was just me trying to make sure that we're on the same page. So these are tags. So I'm going to introduce you to the very first tag, which I think is the most important one because I always use this every time. Okay, so this is called a P tag. So a P tag is simply a paragraph tag. It's a tag that allows us to insert text inside the text editor, but this text is going to be viewed or rendered on the web page. So before I get more into detail with the P tag, I need to let you guys know that we have, of course I mentioned that we have tags, but tags also have what we call opening tags and closing tags. Alright, so this is how simple it is. So I'm going to explain it in a very simple way. So in English, if you're going to write in third person, so let's say you're saying Emmanuel said, I want some KFC. Alright, so basically what you have here is an opening speech mark and a closing speech mark. Now what those speech marks do is they're telling me as a reader what Emmanuel said. Alright, so now I know that this in between is what Emmanuel said. Okay, so the same thing applies with browsers. You want to give them an opening tag, for example an opening P tag, and you want to give them a closing P tag. That way they know that whatever you type inside there is simply going to be text, and it's going to be a paragraph. And the good thing about these P tags and any other tags is that they already have default settings. So this P tag here already has default, font and font size, that kind of thing. So they're already set up for you. Now, the difference between an opening tag and a closing tag are pretty similar. I mean, they're pretty similar in a way if you just want to put it that way. There isn't much of a big difference, except for the fact that a closing tag, of course, has a backslash in it, whereas an opening tag doesn't have a backslash. So, having mentioned that, let's go on and put our closing P tag. Now we're going to type in some random text. Let's just say, hello world. Now as you get into web development, just get used to the fact that you're going to see hello world a lot of times. It's just like that one thing that everybody likes doing in every tutorial, and you find it in books and I don't know, everywhere. It's just, I don't know why, but it's kind of become a habit for me as well, Okay, so you put in hello world there. So let's ignore our P tag for now. Alright, I want to introduce you guys to the first line of code that you're always going to have every single time before you actually start writing any code or much code for your website or your web page. Now this line of code is really simple. You just need to remember it, and that's it. And trust me, the more you do this, it's just gonna stick in your head. I use Atom, like I mentioned in the last video. Atom simply does these things automatically for you by default, but you know, it's good to know them first, because if you just rely on them being done for you by default, then you're not gonna learn anything and you don't know much. So you want to start off by creating tags, the anchor brackets, and then inside those anchor brackets you want to have the exclamation mark, then you want to type in doctype HTML in that particular format. I've noticed some people put completely capital letters, some people put small letters. I don't think it makes much of a difference, but you know, a lot of people just do it in this format, capital D and then everything else in small letters. Now what this line of code simply does is that it declares or defines that whatever is going to be in this document, so starting from line 2 going all the way down, whatever is in this document is going to be HTML. So the line is simply just telling the browser that, hey, check this out, whatever I'm going to type down here is just all going to be HTML. So when you render this page or when you view it in the web browser, just know that you're looking at HTML. This makes it, you know, a lot easier for the browser, because you know, it doesn't have to go through searching for, you know, the code to try to figure out what kind of text it is. Right, so the next line of code you guys need to know is the HTML line, HTML tag. So of course, like I mentioned, we have a closing, opening and a closing tag. So we have the HTML tags, and it's nice to do it like that. So the HTML tags are really simple. They just tell the browser that, okay, now that we've defined that everything in here is going to be HTML, now I'm telling you again that everything in here is going to be HTML. I don't know why we have to do this twice, but guys, like I mentioned, you know, these are just some of those things that have to be done. You have to remember it, and then that's it. Once you just remember it, it sticks in there. Okay, you don't, by the way, just to let you guys know before you start getting preconceived notions, in web development, don't get the picture that you need to remember things a lot. It's not about cramming, because the more you guys do these things over and over again, like people always say, practice makes perfect. The more you keep practicing these things, the more you keep using these tags, they just stick in there, they just click just like that. And I promise you, at first I didn't believe this when people told me, but then as it, you know, after about 2 years of programming and doing web development, I've noticed that, you know, these things kind of just stick in your head just like that. So let's move on. The next thing you have are what we call head tags. Now the head tag is simply a tag that tells the browser what's going to be in the head or in the header of that browser. You know, you're just going to have a little bit of information or a bit of content. You don't do much in this head tag. I mean, for now you don't, but later on I'm going to show you, you put CSS links in the head tag, you know, that kind of thing. And you know, don't make the same mistake I just did here. I call this the header tag instead of the head tag, because I was talking at the same time as typing. But yeah, every time, you know, the good thing I like about Notepad++ is that it doesn't necessarily give you errors unless you view them in the browser. So it's good to learn whilst you you know, trying to avoid making errors without actually getting notifications or alerts that, hey, you've made an error. But right, let's move on. So from the head tag, now we have our very last tag, and this one is simple to remember, to be honest. Actually no, let me not rush that far. It's not our last tag. I think I'll give you guys a bit more, considering we've got 8 minutes. I think I'll take this video up to 11 minutes. Alright, so we have our head tag. Let's just remove that space for now. So inside we're going to have what we call the body tag. Now this tag will probably be one of the most important tags that you cannot miss. And simply what's in the body tag just tells the browser that every single content you type inside these body tags is supposed to be viewed on the browser. See, if I typed, like for example, these p tags, now I'm going to copy them and delete that because it's actually in the wrong place. It's supposed to be inside the body tag, right? If I type that p tag, or if I put in any of these tags inside anything else, like, you know, in between the head tags or inside the HTML tags or just under the doctype tag, then it's not going to be viewed in the browser. So everything that you want to be viewed in the browser has to be in the body tag. And by viewed in the browser, I mean specifically the web page, and you'll notice what I mean in a few seconds time, since I'm going to introduce you guys to what we call the title tag. Okay, so basically the title tag goes inside the head tag. And the title tag is simply the tag that, you know, lets us put in that text that you see on top of a tab on a web page. When you're looking at a tab, you see certain text in that tab. You know, if let's say it's the KFC website, I'm talking a lot about KFC today. If it's a KFC website, you're going to see text on that tab that's going to say KFC, and usually you'd see a small image there that kind of has the KFC logo or something like that. But for now, let's just type in Junior. I think this has to be in p tags, to be honest. Right, now that I have my opening and closing p tag, I'm going to type in Junior Coders. Right, and that's it. So I'm going to save this document, or you can press Ctrl S. If you're on a MacBook, it's Command then S. But now that I've done that, I'm going to go and click Run and launch in Chrome. If you're using any other browser, like I mentioned earlier, you have Safari for people using MacBooks. That's okay, but like I mentioned, Chrome is probably my #1 advice. You know, I totally vouch for Chrome. It's the best one if you want to get into web development. Most web developers use it. I have the feeling that this is going to view in Chromium, and I'm not a big fan of Chromium these days. Right, so another way to do this is to go into that document that you saved, the folder that you created and you saved the intro.html in. There it is, as you can see, mine is right there. And then I can open a Chrome browser. Okay. And then I'm simply going to take that and drag and drop it into my Chrome browser. When I do that, you're going to see it says Hello World. And now it says Junior Coders, and it shows us the p tags. Now I know what I made. I made a mistake. So this is not supposed to be in p tags. Not at all. It's just supposed to be plain text. So I just clicked, I pressed on Ctrl S, which is the same as saving the document. You know, you should get used to using these shortcuts. They make things a lot easier. So let me just do this so that it's a lot easier to view. Okay. So as I've showed you guys, so I've shown you Junior Coders right there. It's inside the title tag, and it's been rendered right on top in the tab. And then Hello World, like I mentioned, it's inside the body tag. As such, it's been previewed inside the web page. Let me just make sure my time is not, oops, that kind of took ages, took longer than I thought. Anyway, let me just prove my point on putting things inside the body tag. So if I were to type Hello World inside or in between the head tag and the body tag, right, I've just saved that, and every time you save something on this side, like I did, I just clicked on Ctrl S, or you can do it the long way, click save, I don't know what you want to do, but every time you save something you need to come here and refresh your browser. So you have that icon on the top left, or you can press Ctrl R or Command R if you're on MacBooks, so you can do that. Okay, so now of course you can see it has previewed as Hello World again, like I told you. But here's what happens now, because you don't really see what's going on in the background. But when you type in Hello World inside the head tag, and in between the head and the body tag, what this simply doing is it's previewing an error in the back. It's giving an error at the back of the browser, and you won't notice this until, let's say, maybe stages where you want to view your website, or as you keep going on and typing more code in here, you may notice that some things may stop working as they normally would have worked. But just out of interest sake, because I've never actually done this before, let's see if it works if I do that. Oh yeah, it works as well. So let's just have a look at my inspect elements, because I believe there should be errors there, because I know we're totally breaking the rules by doing that. Unfortunately, there aren't any errors. I'm gonna have to find out why this works, or why there aren't any errors, because usually you should get an error up here saying that you have that text shouldn't be in there. But for now I'm not sure. And I know that's probably not the best thing for somebody teaching you how to program to tell you that I'm not sure about something, but hey, we're all human. I'll figure that out for you guys, and when I get an answer I will let you know, right? But don't forget, inside the title tag, what you want to have is just plain text. You don't want to have, you know, p tags or anything like that. So yeah, that's it for today's tutorial, guys. Thanks for watching, and of course I do promise I'm gonna find out why that actually did work, because as far as I'm concerned it's not supposed to work. Alright, so yeah, thanks again for watching. If you haven't liked the video, click the like button, subscribe, comment below if you have any questions, or if you just feel like commenting. And yeah, my email is going to be in the description if you need anything else. And yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Cheers.